Hi, it's Luke here from the Custard TV podcast. I don't feature heavily in this next podcast you're about to hear, and when we recorded and I've listened back to do the edit, I wasn't that happy with our intro. So instead of our normal intro where I tell you that Gary's in the London area, Matt's in the northern area, we didn't really talk about anything that you needed to hear, really. There was nothing important going on. So instead, I thought to start the podcast this week, we just have that old children's classic, head, shoulders, knees and toes. Here you go.
Luke.
Hey everybody, here's our star.
Gary.
I'd never heard of him before today.
And Matt.
He's a professional.
Talking Telly.
Try it, just for 1 week. Just try the program for 1 week.
This is the Custard TV podcast.
The biggest news of the week, I suppose. People have been waiting all week for us to talk about this. What's on the food diary?
Well, the food diary's been... what I'll do is a bit later, I'll go over to the food diary and read it out, but I don't want to get up at the moment. I'm supposed to be resting my foot, so I will go... I've got 5 days filled out of the food diary.
Have you stuck to it thus far, though?
No, the food diary starts on Monday. I had to go shopping to make sure that I had all the things for the food diary, so Monday will be the debut.
Oh, I'm excited, Luke.
But the thing is, Gary, I think what you've perhaps done, and this is, you're new to this, we're all new to this, we're going through this together, but the thing is, what you should do is buy stuff and then work out from what you've bought what meals you don't write it down first and then create...
No. That's where trouble lies. Because that's where takeaways get ordered, and that's where cooking disasters happen. Because I come home and the idea is to stop me from misordering, not ordering things or having things I shouldn't have. So the idea is to know what I'm going to have, so that when I get in, it's not a decision. It's right tonight. Boom. I need to plan a little better because in my situation, I don't get home till 6 o'clock, and I really should be eating before 7. To do with my medication. But
the thing is, like last time when you had fish and chips on the list, but you didn't have any fish in.
Yeah, but as I said at the time, I was creating the food diary, and now I've bought everything for the food diary. So we're at day 0. Tomorrow
I'm
is day
already.
1.
At what point?
Monday.
Just so people might want to skip ahead. At what point do you think you'll feel well enough to get up and wander over to the food diary area?
Gary's seen everything, so he's going to be pretty busy. Luke, you can go and look at it.
Can I wander over to it?
Yeah, come down. Yeah, why not?
Let's go over to Matt then. Let's have Matt talk for the majority of the podcast. That's always good.
Well, so you should. It's not like I've been not like a word all day and talking to.
Excuse me. Catchphrase. Come on.
Ugh. Hello. Oh, let's start with Black Mirror because it's the big thing everyone's talking about. Gary's watched the first episode that's on Netflix in that order, which is odd. Yeah. It's an odd decision to what to put in what order, I think, on this. And
well, obviously, I don't know that because I've not seen the others. But yeah,
I read an article where it said this is the order that you should go in, but I've only watched so far Nosedive, which is the first episode. Shut Up and Dance, which is got Jerome Flynn in it, and then San Junipero, which is to me of the 3 I've seen the best one. But this first one, Nosedive, I think why they put it first is because it's got the big names in it. It's got Bryce Dallas Howard, it's got Alice Eve, James Norton of Happy Valley pops up briefly in a role that could have probably been played by anyone as Bryce Dallas Howard.
I think as well. It's also probably the most like the other Black Mirrors that came before. Maybe
I don't know. It's a bit it's a bit more humorous than a lot of the other Black Mirrors. This had a lot of comedy to it. The basic premise is that it's set in, as all Black Mirrors are set in, a sort of dystopian future. This one where everyone wears contact lenses, where they can see like a rating, and you every interaction you have, you rate someone up or down, and their rating changes as a result.
Yeah, you rate things out of 5, don't you?
Out of 5, yeah.
Your rating is averaged.
Bryce Dallas Howard played a woman who was a 4.2, but wanted to be a 4.5, because then she got a discount on a new home. As it went on, her ratings started to go down, as the title would suggest, nosedive. She was going to... Alice Eve was her friend from childhood that she hadn't spoken to very often. She hadn't spoken to for a while. She said, can you be... not best man, what is it? Maid of Honour at my wedding. Yeah. And you could do a speech, and the speech you would be doing would have been in front of a lot of high 4s, and she then could have got that extra rating. But as it went on, her rating plummeted. I just found them too long. I don't know if you agree with me. Everything felt a little bit dragged out.
I would agree with that. How long were the Black Mirrors on Channel 4? Were they an hour with ads, or were they a bit long?
45 minutes.
So I think perhaps they're about 10-15 minutes too long, which is unusual because I mean there are other shows on Netflix at 45 minutes.
Yeah, Black Mirror Nosedive was 60 minutes. San Junipero was just over an hour. Shut Up and Dance was probably the shortest one. I think that was about 50 minutes. So that was closest in time to what it would normally be. I mean, as
a satirical piece that sort of, as a lot of the Black Mirrors are, commenting on the trends of the time, it worked.
I agree with that. I like the idea
how the Facebook generation, the idea of Instagram and everything can be taken to its worst degree.
I think the idea that you are constantly rating things online, it's not out of the realms of possibility to imagine it doing like every interaction. You can believe it, but I just thought it took far too long to get to the central conceit of she's going to this wedding, because then it turned into a bit of a road trip, didn't it? And she met
the series of
driver who was the female president from 24. Thought it was all right, Nosedive, but Shut Up and Dance, I'll just put without revealing anything. Yep. That was a lot darker. Some good performances in there from Jerome Flynn and the young guy whose name I can't remember. And then in San Junipero, which I think is generally considered to be the best of the bunch. That is just an excellent one, and that's the one I recommend to someone like Luke, who isn't a massive
if you're
fan.
not going to watch all 8, then which one should he pick and choose? And that would be a good one.
Or 6 even.
6, sorry, I said there's 6, isn't there?
Well, there's 2. There's another lot. They commissioned 12, 6 of which are on now, 6 of which are coming next year.
Oh, I see. Can I suggest that we pivot to Ordinary Lies, because there is a little bit of a link. The idea is that she wants to improve her life based on the fact that she feels disappointed with her lot, and she looks at Facebook and Instagram a lot and sees other people having much more lives.
I thought that when I saw it, that it was... Yeah.
That's the only real link between that and the Black Mirror. Kimberly Nixon reunites with an old boyfriend who we think just left her. And it turns out that basically he left her because he was having an affair and having a baby, and then she had a baby and terminated it, or she had a terminated pregnancy. All of which came out while she was impersonating her boss in order to impress him, and I think in order to make herself feel better. I think this was another good episode. I do think this might be where I finish, because having looked at the synopsis of next week, I'm not that impressed.
Yeah, Joel Fry pretending to be a superhero.
Yeah, I don't know how I'll feel about that one.
Are you joking?
No, that's his secret identity as a superhero. Yeah, it's a bit like Kick-Ass.
Yeah, it's like Vigilantes or something, isn't it? It's like the guy that dressed up as Batman and went around kicking all the killer clowns.
I tell you what. I feel like I'm watching myself and my family. I think we're watching all the best stuff that's on telly now, and Ordinary Lies. That's how I feel about it. All the best stuff that's on, and Ordinary Lies, because it's just not. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand the premise of it. I really don't.
I think the premise is.
I think this was
slow.
Yeah, I think this was the nearest. This is the one that you could believe the most. I think. Yeah. I don't know if you agree with me in terms of.
I do.
Like it didn't go like crazy. Like we're doing like a To Catch a Predator gang, or drug smuggling, or My Wife's Dead, or Double Life. This was understandable. This girl who's sort of stuck in a relationship with Noel from Hearsay, and she wants all her friends are having babies and get married and stuff, and she wants to create this life to show to her former boyfriend, show how well she's doing, and I just felt sorry for the poor cat.
The lie conceit lets it down, because you've always got to have a ridiculous lie.
Yeah,
And
I
think
don't
just
think
let
this
it
was that ridiculous. This episode.
No, but the problem is now I know that's the pattern.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'll enjoy the rest of the series because I know it's coming. So, whereas I enjoyed the first one because I certainly didn't see it coming, and I really enjoyed Kimberly Nixon's acting throughout it, so
Yeah,
I
she
really
was great.
enjoyed that. But I'm not sure that the rest of it will hold up.
I
mean,
hope
you
she
still
gets more stuff off the back of this. Should we move on to Class, which is the Doctor Who spin-off on BBC Three? There were 2 episodes available. Have you just watched the first one, or have you watched them both?
I just watched the first one, and then I watched 5 minutes of the second one to see kind of what it was going to be like, and I was happy that I did because it made me realise that they are going to carry on with this whole idea of kind of monster of the week or kind of situation of the week, which I wanted.
So this was like the sort of because like there was the Sarah Jane Adventures, wasn't there, which was like the CBBC.
This is
one.
the BBC.
Then there was Doctor Who, which is the mainstream one. You had Torchwood, which is the adult one, and now this is sort of like the teen version, isn't it? This is written by Patrick Ness, who's a young adult YA fiction writer. He's not done anything for TV before.
Right.
Set at Coal Hill Academy. Coal Hill.
Yeah.
It focuses on 4 or 5 students at the school. There's a girl who's sort of really sort of high achiever, but she's a bit nerdy, is sort of arranging the school dance. Then there's another girl who's really intelligent, but is younger than the guys in college. I think she's meant to be, about 14? And everyone else is sort of meant to be about sort of 16, 17.
Yeah, she's a lot younger.
Even though they all look like they're in the mid-20s, as all these kids do, so it's hard to tell how old they're meant to be. A guy who's a footballer, and then there's another kid who's sort of quite posh and has just joined the college, and you're not quite sure what to make of him. And then it turns out, surprise, surprise, he's an alien, and he's a prince on his alien planet. And Catherine Kelly, who's a new teacher at the school, is also an alien. She was a freedom fighter who tried to rebel against him, and they both ended up on Earth, as you do in these Doctor Who spin-offs. But they are being chased by a group of sort of shadow people.
This is stupid and crazy, but crazy enough to be good. In the sense that there's no premise of this trying to make this realistic, or they are just going for pure Doctor Who legend. I mean, the good thing was, of course, with any good spin-off, you had the Doctor in the episode at the end, which sets up the show. I thought Catherine Kelly was quite good.
Yeah.
I didn't like saying outstanding, quite good.
It was very, very expositional because there was a lot to get through.
Yeah.
This is how we left the home planet. This is why we're here. Who are these aliens, these shadowy aliens? I did think, actually, that there were quite a few moments that were quite funny as well. I thought there was a good sense of humour about it. So, and you're going to carry on with it.
Well, I think I'll watch the next one and see how it goes on. There was definitely a more of a Buffy the Vampire Slayer nod. And there was that wonderful scene at the beginning of episode 2, which you haven't seen yet, where it's kind of like they sit and talk about how all these people are just carrying on their lives as if nothing happened. And there's always that bit in Buffy of the other people not really noticing all these things that are going around, and how do they do that? So I did like that. Yeah, I think I'll watch the others. I think I can see where the series is going. It'll be interesting to see whether, because Doctor Who doesn't start till next year, does it? So we get a Christmas special, and then it doesn't actually. Yeah. Will they do a crossover of people from the class in Doctor Who next series? That will be interesting because although they did that in Torchwood, was it after Torchwood finished? They kind of did that, or was it?
They introduced him on Doctor Who first, Captain Jack, didn't they?
That was it, yeah. And then, but Torchwood characters did appear in an episode of Doctor Who, but not all of them, or something.
I think it was David Tennant's last episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, the World's End one. So I wasn't expecting an awful lot. And I think it's probably a bit of a shame that this is in the way on BBC Three. Is it actually being shown on terrestrial television at any point?
Possibly.
Because I know that the some of the BBC Three shows, like the
they've promised
Josh
that they promised that all be on there, but it's an odd one to put on sort of like late, isn't it? I'm not quite sure where it would fit, unless they put it on like Saturday, like on BBC Two, like Saturday late evening, sort of around this time, maybe.
Definitely.
Have you told your friends about this podcast?
Okay, here we go.
No?
It's just not my idea of a good time.
Tell them now.
That's what the people want to hear.
This is the Custard TV Podcast.
Good to the last drop.
From thecustardtv.com.
Are we at the halfway point of the missing?
Yes. No.
No.
I am. You're not.
You are right. So there's
Eight.
eight series. We've hit episode 3, and we now have a little bit more information to fill in. We now know